Welcome to SpellCast, the yearly Gaming Wizards podcast.
Apparently. we need to do these more often.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know why we don't either, because it's not like it takes that much setup or anything. When we've got the mic and everything set up.
Yeah.
For like the regular recording, it's like, I guess after spending like 2 hours of talking over games, it's like, do we want to spend another hour of talking over nothing?
Yeah, and I don't know. I think part of it is just like scheduling things, because
yeah,
like last year, throughout most of 2017, we didn't really record a lot until like the later end of the year.
Yeah.
Like the early half of the year was pretty crazy for me, I know. So it took some time to kind of balance everything out, and I think we just kind of, it had been so long since we'd done we didn't really think about it. Like every once in a while I'd have that thought of like, we haven't done a spellcast in a while, but then like I'd forget to bring it up like when we're actually recording. So I think it's just one of those kind of things.
But yeah, so it's 2018 now, new year. We did like nothing through all of December.
Yeah.
Or much of November.
I mean, it's the holiday season, right?
Yeah, like no kidding, it gets like fucking ridiculously busy. Pretty much regardless of what kind of job you had too. It's like,
yeah,
it's gonna be a nightmare trying to schedule anything that's not work related.
Well, and then like on top of like work busyness, there's always like family stuff and all that.
Too.
So yeah, but
yeah, so crazy holidays, and that's why we've had probably more than the usual amount of like schedule slip ups, because it's just we haven't been able to record stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's been busy. Not that anybody really cares.
I care.
I care too.
Yeah. We care about ourselves.
We care about our channel. Enough to keep updating it when nobody really watches.
Yeah.
Thanks to anybody who is like regularly watching the shit we put out, because like we're just doing it for fun. So it's like the audience would be great, but you know, it's like, eh.
Yeah. I know a couple people who occasionally watch. I want to say, I think Matt occasionally watches our stuff. If you're listening, hi. But yeah, like it's one of those things where even though we don't really have a big audience, I enjoy when we do this, because there's a lot of games that like I never really get around to.
Yeah,
that we end up playing.
That before.
Yeah. So, you know, even if we never get an audience, which I mean, we've been going for a while, so
yeah.
it's not like a bright prospect of this channel growing
4 years,
too much.
I think.
Yeah,
like
something like that.
2013, I think.
Ugh, don't make me think about time. It's gonna depress me.
Time fucking sucks.
It's gonna depress me.
I mean, fucking, it's in just a couple of years, it'll be the point where 2010 was 10 years ago.
Ugh.
Like, we're coming up on that point.
Ugh.
It's like, what the fuck? 10 years is still like a long time.
Soon we'll
Like,
be at the roaring 20s.
Again.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be more literally roaring than you think, because there's going to be like nuclear fallout and weird mutated monstrosities running around. So, yeah.
Hey, you know, whatever floats your boat, right?
Different kind of roaring. It will not be a period of economic like booming. It'll be the opposite. I'm predicting it.
Well, they'll be booming.
Well, yeah.
But a different kind of booming.
Not an economic boom, a literal boom. Nuclear fallout.
That nuclear fallout is a economic boom of sorts. It's a negative boom.
I guess that's one way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not be depressing. lot of shit came out since the last Spellcast.
Oh,
Games
yeah.
and movies and all kinds of shit.
I'm trying to think, like, I did have my PS4 last Spellcast, but I didn't have a lot on it. Like, I think at the time I pretty much only had Bloodborne, and now I have quite a few games, most of which I haven't really played because I'm terrible at actually playing my games. But, like, there's that new Digimon game that I keep wanting to play it, but then I end up playing something else, because it plays like the first Digimon game. Like, it has me really excited because of that fact. Because, like, literally a week before I found out that game came out, I was playing the first one, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool if they, like, remade just this game, but, like, with modern graphics and like, fixed translations and stuff. And that's basically what the new one is.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, there's a couple other differences, like, the towns, like, starting town area is kind of smaller. Like, the training thing isn't like a big field that you have to walk around. It's just like pretty much a menu, but it's still the same game, and
just kind of streamlined a little bit.
Yeah, streamlined, like a little more player friendly in that regard. You can kind of tell like what things are gonna digivolve into, and you can like unlock, like, as you go, you can find out like different requirements you need to digivolve into certain things. So it's not just 100% guesswork. And you also have 2 Digimon at the same time. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I've played a grand total of maybe 2 hours since I picked it up.
I'll get back to it eventually. Oh, look, Cuphead.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I picked the game up like 8 or 9 months ago. So, yeah.
I don't think I had my PS3 the last time we did a Spellcast, so I definitely talked about the fact that I've been playing FF10, but I finished Metal Gear Solid 4 finally, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
I still need to play that one.
I guess there's not really any finally about it. It wasn't, like, excruciating or anything, except one boss fight was a major pain in the ass that had me, like, yelling at the thing, but it was... Yeah.
Funnily enough, like, I think it was... Well, no, it had to have been earlier than that. I was going to say, like, I recently watched a video. I'm trying to remember when it came out. Because, like, I watched it yesterday, and I was going to say it came out yesterday, but I'm like, no, I'm way too far behind on my YouTube subscriptions. It probably came out, like, a week ago. But one of the, like, channels I follow did, like a critical close-up of Metal Gear Solid 4 and was kind of talking about it and, like, how they go about the plot and stuff. And
I liked it for what
it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... I would say it was a perfect ending to the series, like, with all the fourth wall breaking and, like, it's full of references to the other games. Even, like, there's even screenshots of, like, the 8-bit games, like Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. Like,
That's...
Like,
wow.
Like, whenever they're referencing something that happened in that time period, it's with a screenshot from that game. They don't even bother to, like, recreate it with, like, HD graphics and things. It's like, no, that's just what it looked like at that time. It's like, okay, sure.
This is what our world
and
like.
There's like a flashback where you go through the island from the first Metal Gear Solid game, and it's like in the PS1 graphics and all that, and I'm like, that's cool. I like that. And then you go through it as like the modern version too, and it's neat.
Nice.
It's like, and it makes everything that didn't make sense about like Metal Gear Solid 2 like makes sense suddenly. It's like, oh, that's like, why they did all that weird stuff.
they like did their best to explain it in a way that makes enough sense.
Like it gives you the feeling that everything was like planned out, like more or less from the beginning. Whether that's the case, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past like Kojima to do something like that, but it gave you that impression, like it was planned out to eventually end like that.
Well, like that's pretty good, because from my understanding, I think he wanted to be done with it after Metal Gear Solid 2, and they forced him to make 3, so he just made this amazing, perfect, like, start to the story, more or less. And then that was supposed to be the last one. They're like, no, we need another one. And he's like, all right, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't get that impression that it was, like, forcing it. Like, it seemed like it tied everything together and ended it the way that the best way that it could have ended.
Yeah.
And you know, even like Metal Gear Solid 3 being like the start, it explains like you can't not have played any of the games to understand where 4 is going, basically. Like you have to play them, like if not in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like you have to have at least played them all.
Yeah,
like,
or at
like
least have
everything,
basic understanding of it all.
Like every plot point comes back in like some way or another. Like even like stuff that you don't think is like necessarily important suddenly comes up. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a thing. It's like, oh, that's cool.
So now you need to play 5.
I'm debating it. Like I don't know if I really want to. Like I saw there's like the full like all the DLC and all that pack like stuff on Steam. So like I've been looking at it and I'm like, I don't know.
I have it, I want to say, on my PS4 because it was one of the like free games with PS Plus at one point. So I'm pretty sure I have it, but yeah, it's like I'll get around to this maybe one day.
I don't know that it would like enhance the story for me at that point, because it's like 4 is like the ending. Like every character, like their story is over. So it's like, what's the point of expanding on it more? Like, it doesn't make much sense. It's like Clone Wars all over again. It's like you have that little section of the timeline, and you're like piling more and more and more backstory into that section of the timeline. It's like, it doesn't need it. If I want more Metal Gear, I want to know where we go after 4. It's like Metroid 4.
Yeah, what is it like 5 takes place between 3
and Metal Gear 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say the original Metal Gear on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
I wonder what it'd be like to play the games like chronologically. So you would play 3.
So you play 3, 5, 1, 2, and
Metal
4.
Gear. So
unless you count like the PSP.
That's what I'm saying.
And
is
all
like
those.
Counting like everything, because I think it goes like Solid 3, Solid 5, 1 and 2 on the NES, Solid, and no,
Actually,
I
don't think 2 was on the NES.
There was another one on the NES though.
I don't
like Snake's Revenge or something.
Oh yeah, but that one's not canon. I don't think.
I don't know. I think actually between 5 and the first one on the NES is Peace Walker, I think. And that's, so you have like the PSP one in there, and then it goes Solid 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, it's like 4. It's definitely 2 then 4, because like 3 was the flashback to the very beginning, and like 4 actually makes 2 make sense, believe it or not. Like as crazy and ridiculous as 2 got, like
2 got a little wonky at the end there.
I had a little bit more of an appreciation for where they went with 2 after playing 4 and seeing how it all played out. But yeah, like it suddenly made sense like why a lot of the weird stuff happened.
And then Rising Revengeance takes place.
I don't even want to know what they do with Raiden and all those. It's like
you should play that game.
Like I don't know. Okay,
do you like the kind of like the crazy hack and
like
slash?
A ridiculous, yeah, I've seen like bits of it, and
it's like Ninja Gaiden, but in the Metal Gear universe. The first level, you fight a Metal Gear Ray, and you're like cutting it into pieces. It's really cool. Okay, like I've only seen like the intro level pretty much, and it's just the coolest, like most over the top, insane bullshit. Okay, I feel like that would only cause me to ask the question why Raiden wasn't that much of a badass in 4. Like he was a badass in 4. Like he does the whole cyber ninja thing, and you have the little mini Metal Gear tank things walking around that scare the shit out of me whenever it does the alert noise, and it means that one of them is seeing me. I'm like, fuck, I need to run away and hide from this. It's like Metal Gear Rex with Metal Gear Ray's legs
and they're freaky. They make like weird noises and they follow you around. It's bizarre.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're really weird little tanks, but there's like a scene where you get like cornered by like 5 of them. Raiden jumps in and just cuts them all to pieces. It's like, what the fuck?
Nice.
But yeah, I liked 4. Like, I'm sad that it took me like almost 10 years to finally get it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because like if I had been like a super hardcore Metal Gear fan when it was coming out and I was like hyped for it, I would have been like I would have felt justified in the hype. Like, it would have been everything I would have wanted from it.
That's fair.
Yeah. You get to pilot Metal Gear Rex and fight Ray. It's like a little fighting minigame, and it was kind of badass.
Sweet. Yeah, like, I've always liked Metal Gear, but I've never been like a huge fan. Like, the first one I ever played was Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I played 3 like around the time it came out, but I've still never actually played the first one.
Huh.
And I own most of them now, but I don't own the first one still. Huh. One day. Maybe I'll pick up like the GameCube version, Twin Snakes.
Oh yeah.
Because that's supposed to have like some other stuff in it or something.
I got the Essential Collection for PS2. It's just 1, 2, and 3. It's like the extended version or whatever of each of them, but it's literally just the PS1 copy of the first one, like the black disc and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know why I wasn't more like into it. Like I played them and I liked them and I got the story, but I wasn't like a super hardcore fan. And I don't know why, because it's a really good series. It's like a sci-fi, espionage spy story kind of stuff, and that's all stuff that I like, and I don't know why I wasn't into more Metal Gear stuff like as it was coming out.
We know someone who is such a big fan of specifically Kojima, but as a result Metal Gear, that every copy of Metal Gear on the NES that we get in at the store, he will buy.
Oh,
like if we have a copy there and he comes in, all I have to do is like, hey, look, we got Metal Gear, and he'll buy it.
Wow.
It's a good kid.
Yeah, I don't think...
Very easy to sell him certain things.
I don't think I would ever be that big a fan of anything that I would just do that, but yeah. I liked how Metal Gear... how the 4 Metal Gear Solids like resolved and everything, and yeah, it was an experience. Some cool new bosses, some old bosses come back.
Nice.
And Psycho Mantis breaks the 4th wall again.
Of course he does.
Yeah. Oh, and Otacon breaks the 4th wall. I forgot, because there's a part where you're going through the basically you're like going through the building from the first game, and there's a part where you have to, like, in the first one you have to change your disc, because it's a 2-disc game.
Mm-hmm.
So Otacon is like, Snake, it's time to change your disc. Open up the PlayStation and put the second disc in. Wait, this is a PS3. You're on Blu-ray. You don't have to change discs. Like, what the fuck? Why would they throw that in there?
Because they can.
Yeah, I mean, that was when the PS3 and Blu-ray were, like, still new, so I guess it's like, gotta advertise ourselves somehow, I guess. But it's like...
You know, that's actually a way of looking at it that I didn't really think about. I was more just thinking of the fact that, like, it's a way for them to reference the first game and kind of, like, go to the fans and be like, see, look at this fan service. You love it. Yeah,
because there wasn't enough of that through, like, that entire chapter. It's, like, like, every few steps you take, it plays, like, a little, like, flashbacky voice clip from, like, the first game. It's, like, some of the codec conversations, some of the characters randomly talking to you and saying stuff. It's, like, that's literally what that chapter exists for. It's like, hey, remember this part? Remember that part? Hey, remember this guy? It's like, yeah, I remember it. I've played that game. Like, it's cool that you're doing the flashbacks, and but like, I feel like unless it's relevant to the story right now, you're kind of overdoing it. But it was still cool.
It's fair. Yeah, that's one of those series that, like, I need to play more of it, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. God, there's so many games I want to play right now, but all of them are like these really long games.
Oh yeah, I get that.
like I've been wanting to play more Nier Automata, because I played probably like the first hour and a half of it so far, and it's like I really like the game. Like everything about it just feels really good, but at the same time, like I'm so busy with so many other things, I don't want to get too invested in it yet. So it's like, when? Like, I want to play it, but I don't know when would be good, because I'll have to, like, focus on it.
Someday.
And, and the other thing is, with the new Monster Hunter coming out later this month, like, nothing else is going to get attention. That is all I am going to be doing for, like, the next 3 months. Who needs sleep when you could be hunting monsters?
I feel like people who aren't into the Monster Hunter series could do with more sleep than Monster Hunter, but maybe that's just me speaking as a non-Monster Hunter fan.
I mean, my argument against that would be you haven't played World yet.
I haven't played any Monster Hunter yet.
Well, there's that too.
There's that. It's not that I dislike it. It's my default state of not being a fan because I haven't experienced it.
Which is fair. You know, if you ever did want to, like, try out the game, I do actually have 2 copies of Monster Hunter 3, because I have my 3DS copy, and then I also have it installed on my Wii U. So, like, if you ever wanted to come over and, like, you could play it on the Wii U, because, like... So, Monster Hunter has historically been a very handheld-focused game. They've only released a couple of them on console. And the big reason for that is it's not as big here as it is in Japan. And in Japan, handhelds sell better. So, since it's such a niche series, they only release it on handheld usually. But it is a game that plays so much better on a console. Because having that bigger screen when you're hunting something that is the size of the screen
I can see
makes a big difference.
Like trying to play like Shadow of the Colossus on like a phone.
Yeah, pretty much actually. That is a really good comparison. But yeah, like, because you could come over and we could just do like some of the co-op missions, and you could get a feel for what the games are like. And it's not the most accurate feel compared to like the new ones, because like World is the first time where not everything's going to be zoned. So like the way the map is it's broken up into zones like in all the old games. So like when you go from like one zone into another, like you go through like the little like doorway or whatever, like path, and it, you know, you have to load into the next zone. World is the first game where it is all just connected. It's just one big area. Like, there's still, like, very noticeable, like, sections of the map that you could kind of, like, isolate from each other and, like, okay, I'm in this area. And I think they even still have, like, numbers for them for, like, the areas. So, it's still sort of separate, but at the same time, it also is
there's not, like,
completely
a transition
connected.
Between, like, areas.
Yeah. It's like the difference between NES Mega Man and Mega Man X. You don't have those screen transitions anymore. But yeah, like, I'm just so excited for that game. They've made so many just little tweaks. Like the weapon I ended up settling on for 3 was the Lance. And the reason why I like the Lance was it does pretty good damage, and it has, like, one of the highest defenses in the game. So you can just put up your shield and just kind of poke at the monster.
Nice. Poke.
So, like, I kind of defaulted to sort of trying to be the tank, more or less. So I just try to get the monster to focus on me and just sit there and just take blows. And, like, in the new one, they didn't change much with the Lance. Like, it doesn't have a lot of new moves. It plays more or less the same, but everything is a little more responsive. Like, it's a little easier to aim. So, it's just, like, little tweaks that made it more interesting. And, like, I tried doing bow for a while in 3, and having a bow is kind of awful because so ranged and melee weapons have different sets of armor. So like if you make a ranged set of armor, it doesn't have as much defense, but you're a little quicker, like it has some different stats. But like yeah, you couldn't really go between ranged and melee without having to farm twice as many things. But the problem with being ranged is if you're solo, the things just jump on top of you, and you're like, and like you couldn't really like run and gun as easily. Whereas in the new one, they have just like a quick shot where you just kind of like shoot 3 arrows real quick, and you can do that really easily from like a close range, so you can stay really mobile and still like put out good DPS. And then if you are kind of left alone, you can sit in the back and just, you know, pop off like hails of arrows and shit. So like ranged weapons are way more fun. I'm probably going to use a bow or one of the like bow guns, because they have like a light bow gun, a medium bow gun now, and then a heavy bow gun. And each one has like a special ability. So like the light bow gun can like place charges in the ground as like little mines. The heavy bow gun, the heavy bow gun turns into like, it does like a cannon shot. It's just one like really powerful shot. And then the medium bow gun, you can put it into like machine gun mode.
Oh.
And that's just really fun. So just like, gah! Just daka.
Neat.
Yeah. But they're fun games. It's one of those game series that it's more fun if you're playing with people. Like you can play solo. You usually are incentivized to play solo because like certain things only unlock if you're playing solo. So like in order to like expand like your town area and like your farms and stuff, you gotta play solo to get to certain things. But the game is just so much better playing it with people. Like I picked up 4 when it came out because I was like, oh yeah, new Monster Hunter, they're adding new weapons. I was really excited for the Charge Blade, which is like a sword and shield where like as you're hitting stuff, it charges up the sword, and then you can put the charges in your shield so it increases your defense. But then you can put the sword in the shield and like wield it as a giant axe.
Oh.
And like use charges to like unleash tons of damage. But yeah, like I really liked that weapon. It was really fun to use. But nobody else in our group picked up 4 because there was no console release. And we usually got together at Matt's place, so 3 of us would be on our like 3DSs, and he'd be on his TV on his Wii U, and we would be playing like, you know, local connection that way with the Wii U. So like 4 was kind of cool because they added the online play to the 3DS version, but there was no console version, so it was like no one else picked it up, and I was just kind of like, oh. So I played maybe like 2 hours of that game. I think I started over twice, and I was just like, I never played much of it, unfortunately. So I'm really excited for World because it's gonna be good. They've been doing like the betas, so there's supposed to be another beta where they're adding like another thing you can hunt before the game comes out. So I'm hoping that does happen soon. But yeah, good games. If you ever want to check it out, like we could totally just hook it up and go for it.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Or I could always just let you borrow my 3DS and you could play it. I don't know. I have not played my 3DS in a while.
I've just been going through Pokemon on mine. It feels like Ruby or Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby like that. Like it's a little easier to like fill out your Pokedex because you have the Dex Nav. So it's like you just run through an area until something you haven't caught pops up. And it's like, oh, sneak over there and catch it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I've just been
Doing that.
doing that off and on.
I played a little bit of Alpha Sapphire when it came out, but I haven't really touched the game in a while. I don't know.
I've done the whole story and everything, so yeah, there's not much else to do right now. It sucks trying to do that in caves, though, like when something pops up and the deck snap tells you don't have it yet, and you're trying to sneak to it, and then something else randomly attacks.
Thanks, Caves.
And then when you finally get out of that battle, the thing you were stalking is gone. It's like, fuck you!
So it's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I really enjoyed Y. Like, I played through all of Y, but then, like, I only played through, I think I was on, like, the third or fourth gym when I was playing Alpha Sapphire, which is weird, because I really liked Ruby and Sapphire on the Advance.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't get into it with the new ones. And I wanted to pick up Moon, but I never got around to it. And now we got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, I heard the Sun and Moon weren't that, like, spectacular.
I've heard mixed stuff. So, like they changed the way the game, like, progresses. So instead of, like, the gyms, there's, like, the island challenges or something. So some people liked that because it was something, like, familiar but new, and, like, it was a fresh idea. And other people hated it because it was
different.
Yeah, because it was different, because it wasn't gyms. So I've heard, like, mixed stuff on both ends of the spectrum. I just like the big moon bat. Big moon bat's kind of cool. It's got lasers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the complaint I heard was that they made it, like, too easy. Like, everything is, like, really weak, and you're, like, super strong, I guess, or something.
Okay, but, like, name one Pokemon game where that isn't an issue.
Well, I mean, but it's like, it sounds like you don't have to, like, even work for it. Like, like, in the other ones, it's like you have your starter Pokemon, you train that up a bit, you catch some more, and you build your team, and, you know, by the time you get to the end of the game, you have a well-rounded team that's at a decent level. And, you know, I mean, I'm at that point in Alpha Sapphire where, you know, you go back and, like, fight some of the trainers you fought before, and they have, like, level 50 and 60 Pokemon, and I have level, like, 50, 60, 70 Pokemon, so it's like it scales up with you. And, like, I don't know, I haven't played Sun and Moon, so I can't...
It's hard to...
I just know what I've heard, and I've heard that, like, people have been complaining that it's too easy. Like, I guess a lot of mechanics got, like, simplified or something, and I guess there's, like, stupidly overpowered moves and Pokemon that you can get really easily, so it's... See, the last one I put a lot of effort into, why? What ended up happening for me in that game was maybe about, like, halfway through the game, I ditched my starter Pokemon because I didn't need it. Like, I was rounding out my team with other stuff. So, like, my final team, basically, I defeated the entirety of the Elite Four using mostly 2 Pokemon. And that was my Gardevoir and my, I think it's called Pangoro, which is a dark fighting type. Oh.
And I was able to pretty much one-shot every single one of the Elite Four's Pokemon with just those 2, because, like, not even going out of my way to train or anything, by the time I got to the Elite Four, I was, like, 20 levels higher than all of them.
Wow.
I was just like, I'm just gonna stomp you. I think I also had, like, a Honedge, which is the sword ghost type.
Sword.
Or Aegis Slash is its final form.
Oh.
So I had him, and then I had my flying type was, like, the little Firebird you catch at the beginning. So that covered my fire and my flying. I don't remember what I was using for my water type at that point. Because, like, I ditched my starter because I got a better water type, basically. Because I started with the frog, because it became the cool ninja frog.
Oh, yeah.
But then I had the realization that, like, my entire team was dark types. because the frog becomes water dark, and then I had the panda, which was dark fighting, and I had something else that was...
So
I think I had like the crocodile that was like dark and ground.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I think its name is literally just like crocodile.
Maybe?
Sounds right.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah. I basically turned into a dark type gym leader. Unintentionally.
Well, I mean, it'd be cool though to have like the dual types. Like so you have you still have a well-rounded team, but they're all dual dark types. So it's like dark fire, dark water, dark grass.
Yeah.
If you can get those.
I mean, that's basically what my team was.
That's actually pretty badass.
Yeah. That was a good game, though. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it.
I think that's, like, the one that I haven't played yet. Like, X and Y. I think...
Like...
I'm pretty sure that's the only one in, like, the last... Like, throughout the entire run that I haven't gotten.
Yeah, like, I stopped caring about Pokemon after the Advance. So, like, the last one I played was, like, Emerald or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Diamond and Pearl I didn't care, so I just never picked them up. And then Black and White didn't care. Black and White 2 didn't care. Mm-hmm. But then when they announced X and Y and they, like, showed the legendaries, I saw the legendary for Y, and I was like, it's like an edgier version of Quetzalcoatl from Final Fantasy VIII. And, like, I wanted it on that purpose alone. That was another one that was in my party that was a dark type.
Oh, nice.
The fucking legendary is a dark type, too. But yeah, so I ended up picking that game up just because of that legendary, and I ended up really liking that one. So that's, like, the generation that got me back into Pokemon. And I tried playing a little bit of, I think it's Black 2. I had, like, an emulator for it. But I don't know. I didn't like it much.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I think I got White, and I played through it, and yeah, it just didn't. It wasn't that like interesting. Like I just kind of gave up because I got stuck in a cave, like. Because, you know, caves and fucking Pokemon, it's like...
Caves are the worst.
It was one of those, like, puzzle caves. It's like, you have to use strength to move these crystals around and open the thing or whatever. And it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to do this. Can I skip this cave and go to the next city, please? And, yeah, that's the last thing I remember doing. I might have gotten out of the cave and never touched it again. I don't remember. I just remember I liked Snivy.
Yeah, I named him Excalibur.
So did I, and I never let him evolve. I think I had like a level 40 Snivy or something.
That's really funny.
By the time I was like giving up on it.
So speaking of that generation, actually, so it's that time of year where they're doing games done quick. Mm-hmm. And earlier today, while I was at work, I was watching a speed run of White 2, and apparently, they pretty much just beat the game with one Pokemon.
Oh.
So they start with the fire type, Tepig, and they beat the first 2 gyms with the fire type, and then before the 3rd gym, they go into this cave and catch this one, like, little mole thing. And it's like a ground steel type. And steel had resistances to, like, types that they later took away back in Gen 5, like it still had like resistances to like ghost and stuff or something. So they do some like weird RNG manipulation to get one that spawns, like they're basically looking for its level 19, which is the highest level it'll spawn in that cave, female, and it has like perfect IVs. Mm-hmm. So they catch this one thing, and they basically just go into the battle and they just throw a great ball at it and hope it catches and doesn't turn around and kill their Pokemon. But so they catch that, they put it they give it the experience share and put it in their party so that it can get some experience from the next gym because it's bug type. So they just have the fire type kind of finish off the bugs using the other Pokemon as kind of a buffer. But then after that, they just use that Pokemon for the rest of the game.
Wow.
And apparently, it's just super overpowered.
Wow.
But, yeah. I was just like, oh, I see.
So
That's
how
what I
long-
was doing wrong.
How long did the actual run take?
3 hours and 30 minutes for the whole game.
Huh.
Well, that was like the estimate. I didn't watch all the way to the end. They were at about hour 3, kind of getting towards the end of the game. But,
So about 3 hours.
yeah. Yeah.
That's neat.
Just the fact that you can do that with, like, one Pokemon, it's just like, oh, okay. But one of the, like, donation incentives was for the name of that Pokemon.
Oh.
And the name that ended up winning was Kamina.
Because of the mole and the digging.
Because it's like drill bit or whatever. Yeah. I was just like,
Of course.
ha, that's good. I appreciate that.
Pierce the heavens. All that good shit.
All that good shit. So, funnily enough, watching that actually kind of made me want to play that generation. Because it's like, I just kind of want to get that one Pokemon and play through that. Like, not necessarily like try to speedrun it, but just...
But see how far you see what all you can do with that one Pokemon.
Yeah. Because apparently it's just super overpowered. Who knew?
Well, that's neat and stuff.
Yeah. Also, the other night I stayed up till like 6:30 in the morning so I could watch a speedrun of Titanic.
Oh. Okay, why?
Because I saw it on the schedule and I was just like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be fucking good. It took 10 minutes.
Oh.
It's a very short game. Also, apparently a very, very brilliantly coded game. Your attacks can cancel any other animation. So, like, your punches... So, like, if you punch and then kick, you can cancel your punch to, like, do a kick. And you can just kind of back and forth constantly so that you're doing more damage than the game can visually show because you're just constantly hitting things. You can also cancel your death animation by attacking.
What?
So, like, he runs...
You're just invincible.
Yeah, he runs out of health and, like, falls over and just gets right back up and just goes back to punching and, like, kicking.
That
So not only
is
can you attack
amazing.
at, like, light speed, but you're also essentially immortal.
Wow.
It was the
I need to see
funniest
this
thing to
now.
watch. I'm really hoping that they upload it somewhere with the... Because they did an interview with the guy who ran it, like, afterwards, where... Like, they asked him a couple things, and they were also taking, like, community questions from, like, Twitter or whatever. And I really hope they have a clip of that somewhere, too, because that was funny. Just, like, just the interview was great. Because, of course, they were getting terrible questions, like, so will your heart go on? It was good. It was a good run. It was worth depriving myself of sleep yesterday for. Luckily, I didn't have to work. That's pretty much what that came down to. I slept most of my day away, but it's fine.
Doesn't matter. Titanic speedrun.
Yeah. Titanic.
Titanic.
Yup. It's a thing.
Yep. The
Yeah.
NES was weird sometimes.
Yeah, apparently the guy who ran it is, like, known for just doing, like, these, like, weird, obscure games, like, to the point where people just kind of start, like, suggesting stuff to him, like, you should play this horrible game. So he's like, it's a blessing and a curse. So, yeah. There's a few games that are on the NES that are really like I know are bad, but I want to play them.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah. Like I have been going out of my way to buy games where I'm like, this game looks like it's sort of awful. Like I have one called The Immortal. I literally don't know what I'm doing in that game. Like, I've played it a couple times, but, like, somehow it's fun. Like, combat, I'm just kind of hitting buttons and directions and hoping it does something.
Okay.
Like, it's an RPG.
Oh, yeah. That's
One of those isometric dungeon crawlers.
Is it at least in English?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite part, though, is when I was in the first room and I walked forward towards the door and there's, like, a tile that if you step on, you just get killed in the first room.
Oh.
It's one of those games.
One of those games.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I might start doing videos on some of those.
Just, like, pull out random old, obscure NES games and just play it for a little bit and see what happens.
Pretty much. My boss wants me to do a review of Astyanax, and I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's a great game. It's so bad it's good. It's that kind of bad where it's like, it's not that it's just like the worst thing ever. It's just kind of like, why does this exist? Like, who wrote this and was like, yeah, this is a good idea for a story? It's one of those games.
Which one was that?
It's got like a dragon on the cover. So you start with a sword or no. Was it a sword or was it an axe?
It looks like an axe. Well, I see screenshots of a guy with an axe and a guy with a sword, so
I think what it is you start with an axe and then like the power up for powering up your weapon is like a little axe. So you start with an axe and you pick up a second axe, which turns your first axe into a sword. And then you pick up if you pick up another weapon power up, another axe, your sword turns into a scepter, like a club.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently sword is greater than axe and club is greater than sword. It makes perfect sense.
I guess there's some logic in there somewhere.
But it's one of those games where like you can die a few times and like it revives you at the start of the level, but if you die, you lose your power up, so you might as well just start over the whole game because it's that like unforgiving. Like you need that damage to survive.
Oh.
Otherwise things take way too many hits to kill.
Huh.
Yeah. One of those games. And it's also one of those games where it's like there's only like 3 enemies in the game, but like they just change the colors for different levels and like give them like a different move. So like the first level you have like skeleton that kind of back and forth and like slashes at you. And then you have green skeleton that also jumps sometimes.
Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, it was
green skeleton. What will they think of next?
It was the NES.
Of course.
And like the story is like you're some kid from New Jersey or something, and you're like teleported into this magical world by like fairies to like rescue their princess because you're the chosen one or something, I guess. I don't know. And they're like, we'll send you home if you rescue our princess, and you're just like, okay.
Okay, sure.
And your name is Astyanax.
That's the kid's name?
Yes. That's the kid's name.
Okay.
That'd be like, like someone, we meet down the street being named Astyanax.
I mean...
it
would be weird.
From Jersey.
Yeah.
Astyanax.
Yeah, that's a real New Jersey sounding name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a good plot. So I look forward to making a video on that.
I would be curious enough to watch it.
But yeah, I want to just start doing all my old games because I have a few that are just kind of like, I don't know why I bought this. Why did I buy?
We need to play Legacy of the Wizard.
Yes,
we need to play that someday.
We do. We need to like choose.
Just because it has wizard in the title.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I bought it.
Yeah, I figured.
I
think I have a ROM for it too, but yeah.
Yeah, I was like, for like one of the like anniversaries of GamingWizards or something, we just need to do Legacy of the Wizard because it has wizard in the title.
Of course, absolutely.
It's actually one of the only games I actually have the manual for. and I was looking through it, and apparently it's actually like a pretty like in-depth like RPG or something from the looks of it, or like an adventure game. So I'm like, this actually might be good. What? When was our first Mega Man X video?
March 13th, 2013. So we're actually coming up on our...
We're coming up on 5 years now.
Holy shit.
Damn.
I didn't realize we'd started that early in 2013. But yeah, that... Huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be the perfect time to bust out Legacy of the Wizard.
We might have to do that. I'll
maybe
hook up the
even
Retron.
maybe even stream it if we can find the time.
That'd be fun. I'd be down for that. Yeah, that's...
It's been a while since we streamed something. Like, I think Five Nights at Freddy's was the last one we streamed for Halloween, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was gonna say, we've only streamed, I think, twice. Because we did Bad Dudes for 4th of July that one year.
Yeah.
And then we did Five Nights at Freddy's.
Huh.
And I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did the other Halloween and it wasn't streaming. We just played, like...
We recorded, like, three different...
Limbo and...
Yeah. It was Limbo,
Binding of Isaac and...
what's
Party
that game
Hard.
called? Yeah,
Party
that's
Hard,
it.
yeah.
I was trying to remember the name. Like, I could picture it. I was like, I can see the character's face.
That game where you kill all the people because you're an asshole. Or allegedly they're assholes. Everybody involved is assholes.
I mean, they're making a lot of noise. You're trying to sleep. It makes sense to me. I'd kill them too.
Yeah. But then what's the logic of moving on to another party? It's like, you killed everybody in the house next door, and then...
Well, then you have tasted the bloodlust.
Oh, so it's just a bloodlust thing, huh?
Yeah. Then you have a taste for it. You're like, this seems good. Well, and then like the party goes on to like, or like the story goes on to like the cop or whatever who's after you's daughter becomes like obsessed with you and joins you in killing people at parties.
Yeah.
Like goes and starts doing the same thing.
That was a thing.
I never finished that game.
Me neither. I got to like...
There's a Party Hard 2 now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't remember if I ever picked it up or if it was still just like on my list of like to do.
I'll take a look at it. Maybe finish the first one someday.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game. But
I remember there was like a glitch or something in like... I think it was like the boat level or something that caused it to like slow down. Like
weird.
as you spent time in that level, like if you didn't beat it in like a few minutes, it would be like really, really slow.
That's weird.
Yeah, and it made it like impossible to actually like beat that level.
Excuse
I think.
me. Huh.
I think they fixed it eventually, but yeah, I just remember that being like really annoying.
I bet.
Because like, I wondered at first if it was my computer or something, because like I had a good computer even at that time before I had upgraded stuff. Like this can't be a problem with my computer. This is something wrong with the game, right? And I went looking around, and it's like a lot of people were complaining about that particular level being really, really slow. So it's like, huh.
Okay.
And I think somebody like explained what was going on and how they fixed it, but I don't remember like what exactly it was. Yeah, that was... I don't think that was the last level I did. That was still like early on.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I don't remember exactly how far I got.
Yeah. It's one of those games where it's like, all the levels kind of blend together in a way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the gameplay is very simple, but...
It's still kind of fun, though, like messing around with some of the level mechanics and stuff. It's like... And how it's a little bit randomized each time, too, so... Like, doing the same thing might not always have the same result.
Yeah. I think we should try to do more stuff like that. Like, whether or not we actually stream things, just kind of like themed videos. Because that was fun when we did the Halloween stuff and all that. I still want to do Metal Wolf Chaos for 4th of July one year. like at this point, I'm pretty sure the only way I'm gonna be able to we'd be able to do it is if I got like a modded Xbox.
Oh, it's one of those like. Oh yeah, that was a Japanese thing.
Yeah, it was a
only.
Japanese only Xbox game that is fully voice acted in English.
That's weird.
And it's like the most American thing ever.
It's like it's like how I'm trying to think of like it's like a reversal of like when somebody in America makes like something and dubs it in Japanese or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
that's cool, I guess, but why?
I just think it's weird that it never like got released over here.
Considering it was already in English and all
yeah,
that.
like, well, considering it was already fully voice acted in English, and like the company who made it, it's not like they haven't released niche mech games over here before. The entire Armored Core series was made by the same people.
Oh, huh. Then yeah, that is weird.
Also, something I noticed not too long ago when I was looking at Armored Core games, I noticed a little name on the back of the games that, like, you know, where it has all the developer logos.
Mm-hmm.
A very particular name that you might recognize. From Software.
For Armored Core?
Yeah!
Huh.
I was like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Now I kind of want to see like a sci-fi Dark Souls style game.
Dude.
Like,
I'd be down for that.
Like similar combat style, but you like fight robots or like giant mechs and things like that.
That'd be cool. Like, and like aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bloodborne has some aliens in it, but it's more of the like Lovecraftian.
More Lovecraftian aliens.
Yeah.
Like from another plane of reality that human beings can't perceive, or you know, like literally from another actual planet. And they like came here in spaceships and stuff.
But yeah, actually, that'd be really
that would
sweet.
Be pretty badass.
Give us sci-fi Dark Souls. I don't know what you would call it. I'm trying to think of a clever title, but nothing's coming to mind.
Well, they would think of something.
I mean, yeah. I was hoping I could come up with something. But that's okay. I don't need to come up with things. Let actual game developers do that. Or, I don't know, we'll come up with an idea and then someone will apparently make it.
Yeah, just like psychically steal our ideas.
I can't believe I had actually forgotten about that one.
Well, you mean the idea we had about a visual novel that starts out like a perfectly normal dating sim and gradually goes off the rails and becomes a fucked up horror game?
Like, so I was looking at the document again, and like your literal way of putting it was like it turns in like the characters become self-aware and realize they're in a pervy game, and it turns into a psychological horror. And like in the notes was like it would be perfect YouTube bait.
We wrote that a fucking year ago.
Why didn't we just make it? God damn it.
Because we don't know how to make a visual novel. I mean, I can't imagine it's that difficult to make a visual novel, because
it's
everybody who can draw fucking porn does it all the time. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, a visual novel is the most basic,
the
bare
thing
bones
is, we would have
to
do, like, the weird parts. Like,
yeah.
It can't just be a standard visual novel. There has to be the weird, like...
Yeah.
The weird bits in there, like the horror stuff and all that, too, where it's...
The horror stuff and the file creation and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't have even thought of doing, like, the I'm scared thing, like, messing with files stuff, so...
I mean that makes the most sense if characters become self-aware that, like, there would be documents
we didn't really develop the idea. It was literally just, like, let's write this down and maybe use it someday.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of those where it's just, like, a very bare-bones idea. Like... Some of them are just stupid one-off jokes. We'll probably never make them.
Like Investigator.
That's the exact one I was thinking of.
That's probably like the least developed one in there, as far as I
mean,
remember.
what is there to develop? It's Phoenix Wright, but you're a you're a gator.
Like that style
like you're
of,
an alligator.
investigative, like, courtroom gameplay, but
But you're an alligator.
But you're an alligator in a vest.
Yeah, that wears a vest.
That was the extent of that idea.
and the other, like, I remember the other joke was that everyone else in the game would be a normal human, and
nobody questions the fact that you're an alligator. Yeah.
And the one time someone does make mention of it in, like, one of the later cases, like, everyone would think they're crazy.
It's like that.
Like, they'd be like, "Why is an alligator in the courtroom? What are you talking about?"
Like the Sir Barrington D&D story.
Yeah.
Like, pardon me, Sir Barrington, that man is being incredibly rude.
God. D&D has been, like, a weirdly relevant thing.
Yeah, like, everybody with
Have you noticed that?
Everybody in YouTube is, like, doing D&D now. It's weird.
Like, I mean, like, Pro Jared's always had it, like, has been doing his D&D December thing for a while now. Mm-hmm. Like, that makes sense, but, like, you have the Game Grumps D&D podcast.
Yeah.
And then
Rooster Teeth has, like, 2 of their own going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rooster Teeth has one. Then there's Harmon Quest, which is...
Oh, yeah.
Which, my boss has a Verve account, and he was showing me some of Harmon Quest, and that shit is hilarious. Huh. They actually, like, fully animate it. So, like, it adds to it, because in addition to just...
being pretty neat. Yeah, it's kind of weird how that, like, suddenly became a big thing again. Like, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere.
I'm
like, hey, let's do a D&D thing. It's like, okay, cool. I mean,
I wonder if it has something to do with the popularity of Stranger Things. Because, like, it's not, like, a big, like, detail in it, but it is, like, an underlying detail that, like, the things are kind of referenced in D&D terms throughout that series.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that might be part of it.
I'm trying to think, like, when Stranger Things came out versus when
people...
When, like, the earliest one I can think of was Rooster Teeth doing theirs. Like,
when did they start theirs?
That's what I'm trying to recall.
Because pretty much if it was any time after 2016...
I feel like... I want to say it was, like, early 2016?
I don't know. It's weird.
Heroes and Halfwits.
Heroes and Halfwits. It's a good title. But it's also been, like, reinvigorating my desire to try D&D again.
Yeah.
I kind of miss it. Except
there's the whole, like, schedule thing. Let's see. Original run, June 9th, 2016. When did Stranger Things first air?
When was season 1? Does it have a date on here? Because I don't know. It might be unrelated.
Let's see. First episode. So Heroes and Halfwits actually predates Stranger Things by like a month almost.
Okay.
First episode of Stranger Things went up July 15th, 2016.
Okay.
So that's not likely.
So they just kind of happened to happen at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
I wonder if maybe Rooster Teeth like just decided out of the blue to do that, and then everybody saw how popular and fun that was, and it's like, hey, let's do that too. Like maybe they kind of
might have been the catalyst. That. But yeah, we've been talking at the shop about trying to start up a D&D night maybe, because we know a few people that are kind of interested in it. So I guess we might, like, my boss is gonna maybe try running Pathfinder, and then if people want, we might switch to 5th edition, because I kind of want to try 5th edition personally, just partially because I've found like a homebrew that is all of the races and classes from Final Fantasy XIV converted into D&D 5th edition rules.
That's neat. I know nothing about like any of it, so yeah.
You could be a dragoon.
That would be cool, I guess.
They got spears. Dragoon is one of the coolest classes from Final Fantasy historically. And it's funny because in 14, they're like the butt of every joke because the people who play Dragoon tend to be really bad. I don't know why. I really don't. It's just they tend to be the people that end up tanking the floor. I think it's just because the class has, like, they have, like, their jump abilities, but, like, they hold them in place for, like, a brief moment, and people who play that have this tendency to time those, like, right when something's about to, like, push them off the edge, basically.
They can't move! Can't move for half a second!
Can't move for half a second, welp, I guess I'm dead. And all the healers collectively sigh. Yeah.
And that's a TPK.
Pretty much.
GG.
Yeah. Being a healer sucks.
I can imagine.
I mean, like, I enjoy it, but at the same time, like, how much I enjoy being a healer is directly proportional to how competent my teammates are.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The more they get hit by things that they can avoid, the more I just want to, like, log out and never play again. It happens. It happens. It's a good game. It's a good game. I have far too many hours in it. I found the game time command, and I just kind of, like, looked at the number of days worth of time, and I was just like,
that's a lot of days.
I was just like, what has my life become? I don't play as much anymore, though. I've managed to pull myself away a little. I think that's healthy for me. Now I just need to get myself actually doing other stuff instead of sitting around and watching YouTube.
Play more games.
Oh, I know.
All
I have
the
so
games.
many.
Every game.
Like, just on my PS4, I have the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Digimon, which I talked about earlier, the Final Fantasy XII remake, Final Fantasy XV, Tales of Berseria, Hyper Light Drifter, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Yooka-Laylee,
Jesus Christ.
and the Odin Sphere remake. All of which I really want to play.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah. That's like 11 games, and that's like pretty much just my physical stuff. Like, I also have some other stuff downloaded besides Horizon that I can't remember right now. And most of those are like 100-hour RPGs.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like 6 of them are like 100-hour RPGs.
Wow. Damn.
What's wrong with me? The upside is I like most of those we have because I got Mary into RPGs, so usually she plays them, and I kind of like sometimes like turn around while I'm like playing Final Fantasy or whatever, and I'll like kind of watch like a scene or something, so I more or less know what happens throughout Persona 5 and Tales of Berseria, like via proxy.
From being in the same room as somebody playing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I experienced it enough to appreciate it.
Oh, look at that. The thing happened. Cool. Back to healing.
Oh, man, that guy just did that. Oh, what a dick. Fuck that guy.
Oh, that character died. Was that an important character?
Yeah. But
I mean, I'm assuming somebody dies in one of those games.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's an if it's a 100-hour RPG, somebody has to die at some point.
That's fair.
Like,
I mean, Tales of Berseria, like the start of the game, someone dies.
well, there you go.
Yeah, it's what sets you on your path of revenge, and just being an edgy bitch. It's really funny because there was a point where I turned around and I was looking at like the cast of characters. And, like, there's a point in the game where you have, like, the main character who's just, like, she's in, like, these ragged, torn-up clothes, has, like, this, like, demon claw thing, super edgy looking. And then you have the tall guy in, like, the big black trench coat. And then you have the guy with, like, the katanas and, like, the armor and, like, the scraggly black hair. So all these really edgy guys. And then you have this little kid in like a, like, choir boy outfit. And it's just,
Sure.
it kind of sticks out a little bit. I mean, there's 2 other party members that you get, but, like, at the time, I had turned around, and it's just like, oh, man, look at all this edge, and then you got, like, Billy over here.
Beating the shit out of a monster or whatever.
You got Billy over here singing his choir songs while everyone else is ripping things to death.
Everybody is inspired by your tones, Billy.
Yeah.
You have driven them to murder.
Yeah, you got, like, Team Anti-Hero over here, and then just, like, the little, you know, Popely kid. It's a really funny visual, just seeing, like, that set of characters on screen at the same time.
I need to play more RPGs.
Yeah, we should play Odin Sphere at some point. It's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up style RPG.
Huh.
But it's very pretty. And it's something that we could play in, like, segments.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the... So, throughout the game, you play through as 6 different characters. And they're kind of presented as, like, chapters of, like, a storybook. So, like, the whole thing is framed like you start in, like, a room, you're like a little girl with a cat, and you grab a storybook, and you start the first book. So, like, if we were to record it, it's something where we could do a chapter, like, one character's book, and then, like, do something else, like, in between.
Huh.
Because, yeah, like, I think that would be a fun one to do.
Yeah, that might be interesting to do.
It's,
one of these days.
Yeah. Just, like, so many RPGs where it's like, this would be fun to do one day, maybe. Yeah, but that's one that I really want to get to, and I really want you to play through Xenogears, because it's such a good game. Like, I've told you about it before, but it's just like we'll get to disc 2, and we'll just kind of be like, all right.
It's like, where's the good game?
All right, let's just trudge through the end of this. Like we could probably, like, do disc 2 in, like, sets of streaming or something, just because it is going to be just a lot of walls of text, which is unfortunate. But, like, the combat system is so good because it's like a combo system.
Mm-hmm.
So you, like, triangle is light, square is medium, X is heavy, and each one takes up, like, so many points. So, like a light attack is 1 point, medium 2 point, heavy 3 points. So at the start of the game, you have 3 points for, like, doing attacks. So you can't really do much with that.
Right.
But then, like, as you level up, you get more points. And as you get more points, you can unlock more death blows, which are, like, your super combos. So, like, I think, like, one of the earliest ones is, like, triangle X. So you need 4 points to be able to do that one. And it does, like... So you do, like, your normal hit, and then you do, like, a, like, super move at the end of it kind of thing. And they get really cool.
Neat.
And, like, by the end of the game, you have 7 points, and you actually have, like, 4 combos that take 7 points, like, one of each element. So... And you will realize that, like, the 2 characters that you get first are pretty much the most overpowered characters in the game. And, like, every character you get after them, like, you're only going to use them when you have to.
Of course.
Or when the, like... So you have the main character, who, of course, is going to be good. And then you have the, like... The second character you get is Seaton. And he's just so good, there's no reason not to use him. And pretty much the only time he wasn't in my party was when he couldn't be in my party. Like, when I had to have someone else. And then, like, near the end of the game, he gets a sword, and he gets even better once he gets a sword, because now he actually has a weapon equipped.
Oh.
It's one of those things, where it's like, oh, okay, sure.
Just goes all
right.
Zaraki on him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my sword with 2 hands. Oh shit!
that was a really good moment. That Bleach is a pain to watch through, because there's, like, even if you skip the filler, it drags so much at some points, where it's just like, okay, this guy's been the main villain since, like, season 2. We're on, like, season 14. Let's just wrap it up. But at the same time, like, it has those moments that are just so good. It makes it worth it. Like, I'm glad that I caught a lot of those fights. Because, yeah. That Kenpachi moment of just like, oh yeah, I could just, you know, add more power to my swing and hold my sword with both hands and nuke. Oh. Okay. Sure. That's balanced.
Because why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's how those anime tend to go, though.
Like, why do we have any other characters? You are, like, the most OP of all. Like, I want to see Zaraki versus, like, One Punch Man.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
I wonder how that would go, actually.
I mean, all one has to do is land a single punch, but it is Zaraki, so he might not make that easy for him. I don't know. It's hard to compare stuff like that because like everything has its own like in-universe rules of like power levels. Sometimes I wish they didn't make anime like that so much because it is just so like they always tend to drag it out too much. Like My Hero Academia is supposed to be pretty good, and like I've seen some of it and it's like I like it, but I already know it's going to be one of those series that's going to go on for hundreds of episodes.
Oh, is it? I didn't.
I mean,
I don't know much.
They're only like 3 seasons in, but
it's gonna be one of the.
It's a shonen series. Like you can tell it's gonna be one of those ones that just doesn't end.
It's probably got like. I think they probably just like started adapting the manga, huh? And the manga's probably already like 500 volumes at this point.
I don't know for sure. I haven't looked into it that much, but like from what I can tell, it's like okay, it's an obvious shonen anime. It has that kind of formula where everything just kind of like creeps its way upward.
Enough talk. Let's fight.
This is gonna
new power level.
This is gonna go on forever, isn't it? But I mean, I have so much old anime to catch up on anyway that, like, whatever. I don't need to worry about new stuff. I think the only new thing I've actually seen all of is Classroom of the Elite. And that was pretty good. Season 1 left me wanting more, and I look forward to Season 2 when that comes. Because it's like, the base concept sounds very overdone. Like, it's the characters are going to, like, this, like, ultimate high school or whatever, and everyone there is, like, the top percentage of top percentages, and the main character ends up in, like, Class D, which is basically, like, the defective class. Like, everyone in that class has something, like, wrong with them, quote-unquote.
So he's, like, the normal guy to everybody else being, like, I'm a genius, I'm a special super athlete. It sounds like Danganronpa.
I mean, sorta. Like, so basically the way that series works, and this is all just kind of stuff from the first episode, so everyone's assigned a class at the beginning based on their, like, test scores for applying to the school. And basically, Class A is, like, the top class, and then B, C, D. At the start, every class is given, like, 1,000 points. And, like, everyone gets, like, points every month, and they can spend their personal points on anything. Anything can be bought with points on the school grounds. And there's, like, shops and everything. So, you know, like, the first month, like, everyone just goes nuts. They spend all their points. They buy, like, video games and stuff. And, like, they notice that the teacher doesn't really care if they're doing whatever in class, so they just start doing whatever the fuck they want. They're not paying attention. They're just, you know, playing video games. It's a trap. Yeah. Well, then the next month rolls around, and no one gets points. And they're like, teacher, where's our points? Like, have they been sent out yet? And she's just like, oh, yeah, points have been sent out. You guys don't have any points anymore. So basically everything they did that was wrong was losing the class points. So now no one gets any money, basically. So they just kind of have to live off of like the free stuff that's available, which is like the basic of most basic thing, like stick of deodorant. Like they get like 3 basic items a week or something. So like the whole thing is you can actually like move up in like classes by getting more points than the other classes, but you know, there's ways to gain points, ways to lose points, and there's no way to really know if you're gaining or losing. So that's kind of like the driving force of the story. Is like one of the characters, like she really is determined that she's going to be in class A, and the main character is like completely passive about everything.
Just doesn't give a fuck.
Like he is the most like emotionless monotone thing, and as the series goes, you kind of find out that he goes out of his way to appear average. Like it's revealed at one point that he got a perfect 50% on like the entrance exam.
So he could be like anywhere he wanted to be, but he just doesn't give enough of a fuck.
Yeah, like he's trying to be normal, and he's clearly not normal. And by the end of the series, like you have the realization that he is completely brilliant to the point of being terrifying, and he's he's so emotionless, and there's like some like hints at some sort of dark thing that was like he's like some sort of experiment kind of thing. Like there's little hints to that in like flashbacks.
And what was this one called?
Classroom of the Elite. But yeah, like that's what keeps me watching, is to see like I want to know his backstory. I want to know why he seems like he's just a total sociopath. I want to know if he's going to end up murdering someone by the end of the series, because honestly, I wouldn't put it past him if it were to further his whatever his goals are. But yeah, that's your main character, just this like completely like deadpan, emotionless guy that's just like, yeah, whatever.
Nice. Yeah, I have added that to my list of things to look into eventually, basically.
Yeah, it's short right now. There's only 1 season, and it's only like 13 episodes. So like it's like 1 or 2 afternoons to get through it right now. So I would say if you were to look into it, like maybe while there's still only the 1 season would be the best time.
Get caught up on it, and then
that way
wait with everybody else for the next season.
Yeah.
Assuming it ever comes.
Well, more just kind of that way. It's like that way it doesn't seem like it's a really long thing, and you can kind of, so it doesn't look as overwhelming, and you can kind of judge based on the first season how interested you are in it. Because it definitely seems like one of those things where it's like, this probably isn't for everyone, but like it has me really intrigued to like what could be going on. So
I actually forgot I had some of these on my list. Have you heard of Magical Girl Apocalypse?
No.
It
sounds awesome.
I'm trying to remember exactly what I read about it, but I think, if I remember correctly, it's like a zombie apocalypse, but with magical girls instead of zombies.
Okay.
Like they have like the magic powers and all that. Like, yeah. I need to remember. I really need to look into that one, because like I'm trying to remember where I heard about it. I think it must have been like somebody mentioned it, because that was when like Madoka Magica was like still really big.
Yeah.
And
Still
it's like
popular.
a parody of that, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah. I just saw that on my list here on my phone. I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing that I needed to look up.
There's one, I forget what it was called. It's another one of the like more recent anime that like kind of sounded like it had an interesting concept, where like basically all the like super powered characters are like characters from video games and anime that are like basically coming to life. And it has a lot of like meta moments in a way, like, and like trope subversion stuff where like there's a magical girl character who's like on the villain side, I guess. I don't know if that's just like initially or if that's how it stays like throughout the first season or whatever, but like she's doing like this battle, and like she comes from like a magical girl world where, you know, everything's kind of bright and smiles, and like big battles don't really cause
and use my magic.
Well, and you know, like big battles don't really cause like lasting damage. And so like her first fight, like all these people end up injured, and like she kind of has this like
oh,
moment of like realization of like, what am I? Like what have I done? So like the idea of something like that sounds really interesting to me. So it's like I've been wanting to look into it, but I can't remember the name right now. But again, it's one of those things where it's like I never get around to watching anime. I mean, I finally watched Evangelion last year.
Oh.
That's how far behind I am. And I still need to watch the new movies.
Yeah.
Like I watched End of Evangelion, and now there's like, but I want to watch like the new movies, the like 1.1 or whatever and all that.
Yeah, so Magical Girl Apocalypse is a manga series, and I guess it's not quite what I described it, but yeah, it's like magical girls are like the bad guys, basically, and they just go on a murder spree.
Neat.
So it's like apocalyptic, not quite zombie apocalypse, but like kind of that idea, I guess, from the sound of it. Like, I need to look into it more, but...
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds interesting.
Don't think it's been translated, so I might have to find like a fan translation or whatever.
Yeah, that's always a thing. Yeah, luckily I've noticed that nowadays, like, it seems like most anime get English dubs pretty quickly.
Yeah.
'Cause like I started watching Classroom of the Elite at Matt's. We were watching it on Crunchyroll, and like we watched the first couple episodes, and I wanted to catch up with it. So I went to look it up on that. I think it's called like, it was Kiss Anime. I think they changed it now though.
Is it? It's not still Kiss Anime?
Well, that one might still be Kiss Anime.
I know Kiss Cartoon got like taken out, and now it's something else.
Yeah, it's like Kim Cartoon now.
Yeah.
I think it is still Kiss Anime. But yeah, so I went to look it up on there, and I found out, like, oh, there's an English dub already. Okay, I'll just watch that. Which was a little off-putting at first because I was used to the Japanese voices.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the first couple of episodes, like, when I was rewatching it, was kind of, like, jarring because I wasn't used to the voices yet.
Yeah, Kiss Anime is still around.
Okay, it's still... Alright.
Yeah, so I could still...
I wasn't sure if it changed.
I could still sign in and see my list of, like, 800 anime, because...
Jesus.
I had it open while I was watching AMV Hell, and every time something's like, hey, that looks interesting, let me look it up on the list. Okay, cool, I'll add that to my list, like, it's anime.
Thanks, AMV Hell.
I think I've gotten through, like, 4 series out of the, like, at least 50 or 60 on my list. I started one and didn't... Oh, I never finished Hellsing.
Like
Hellsing
Ultimate?
Yeah, I think I got like, I think I was like 2/3 through it or something. Like they just started the attack on the city. I think that was the last one that.
The abridged is further than you're at now.
I know. I was actually
God
debating on like even it's like. It's I'm too used to the abridged series. Like I'm too used to Anderson being such a jackass and Alucard being a fucking sarcastic
Alucard
asshole.
being Alucard.
Yeah, and like he's still cool and badass, but he's not Alucard.
Like it's funny. We were actually having a talk about that at the shop the other day, where it's like, it is tempting to say the abridged is better than the original,
right?
Like. Obviously, they're going for different tones. One's more aiming to be funny, and one's more serious. But at the same time, like, just the way the characters are just so much more, like, interesting and abridged in a way.
Right.
And it's just like, they're both good, but it's really tempting to call abridged better.
Yeah, and it's the same with their Dragon Ball series too. I wish they would update that more often, but
I want them to finish Hellsing already. This one a year thing is killing me.
Well, it was supposed to be like their Halloween special, and then I guess it got more popular than they expected, and they ended up like having to devote more time to it to make it good, and it ended up delaying it, and
Yeah.
now we're lucky if we get one a year.
Yeah. I think it was 2016's where like it was delayed until like January of 2017. Yeah, that's a thing. But I mean, I guess it's still not as bad as when the original series was first airing, because like the last 2 episodes took like 7 years or something to come out, because episodes like 1 through 8 were like made back when we were in like high school, and I think Abridged was on like episode 4 maybe, when like they finally finished and released episodes 9 and 10.
That's weird. I wonder why that would be.
Like there was just this like huge gap of time where just like they did not come out. And I remember when they came out, because I was like, this series is getting ending, cool, I can like catch up on it and stuff. And they like premiered on Adult Swim, which was kind of cool. I was like, yeah. And Alucard turns into a little Russian girl, but has the same voice.
Oh, that's not bizarre or creepy or weird or anything.
It lasts for like half an episode, I think. But yeah, like I knew about him becoming like a little girl. What I wasn't expecting was when the same voice came out, I was like, oh, strange.
Hello, I'm Alucard. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like, just looking at my anime shelf, I think I own like 7 things on disc that I haven't watched. So I feel like those should take some priority since I kind of owned them. Nah.
You would think, but there's so much more also on the internet for varying degrees of legality to watch.
Well, and the problem is I have this tendency to just like pull up Netflix and just watch Madoka again. Huh. Oh man, I should watch something. I don't know what to watch. Oh, I know. I'll watch Madoka again.
How many times would that make it?
I think I've watched through the series, I want to say 3 times.
Okay.
I think. And I've watched through the movies, which is just the series retold for the first 2. I think I've watched through the first 2 movies like 3 times, and then the third movie like 6 times or something. Because like I'll watch the third movie with the series, but then I'll also watch it with the other 2 movies.
Yeah, I've watched through the series 3 times and the one movie twice, because I didn't bother watching the other 2 movies because it's just like the recap of the series. So it's like I'll just watch the series instead.
Yeah, it's like in a shortened down version of the series. Kind of cuts out a little of the fluff. There's some minor changes, like very minor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, you have to watch the series a minimum of twice.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. Like, there's...
I think everything takes on, like, a new meaning the second time you watch it. Yeah, another series like that is Durarara, which I still need to watch the 2nd season of. I haven't watched any of that. But the first...
still on Netflix? I feel like that was on Netflix.
I think it is. I think it is still.
It's been on my list for a while. I don't know... Like, I don't notice when things on my list get taken off.
Yeah.
Like, until I'm, like, I might be, like, at some point, it's like, I want to watch that thing. Oh, where is it? I thought it was on here.
Yeah, it's like when I recently was on Netflix, and I was like, you know what I haven't watched in a while? Digimon. And I was like, where's Digimon? What the fuck, Netflix?
God damn it, Netflix.
I was halfway through Season 2 of Digimon, just like I was halfway through Season 5 of X-Files when they removed that.
They took off X-Files?
Yeah.
Fuck,
like months ago.
I was like 4 or 5 episodes into that, and then I like got distracted, and I kept telling myself I'll come back to it eventually. I'll watch the rest of it eventually, and apparently no.
Yeah, like
I didn't even notice that it wasn't on my list anymore. See, that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Like, stuff disappears off my list. And
you don't think about it until you go to watch it again.
Oh yeah, Durarara's still on there.
Yeah,
I'll get to that someday.
Yeah, that's another one of those ones where it's like you gotta watch it twice because, like, there's like the text conversations that pop up, like the chat room conversations that happen at different points, and the first time you watch it through, they don't make any sense. They're kind of like, all right, but then by the end of the series, you know who's who in the chat room, and suddenly like it all takes on like another meaning, and it's just like, oh, like it's one of the cooler details I think of that show. But yeah, Netflix, like, you don't think about stuff until you go to like watch it, and you're like, where is it?
I wish they would like notify you or something if something on your list is like on the.
It's gonna be like removed
like verge
or
of
something.
being taken off for whatever reason, because you can look up that information too. Like there's sites that's like, this is all the stuff that's coming to Netflix. This is all the stuff that's going away next year or whatever, next month or whatever.
Yeah,
like I feel like Netflix should tell you if something on your list is going away soon.
That would be a nice feature. Cause yeah, X-Files really sucked for us.
If you've started watching it, or if you've watched like an episode or whatever, it's like, hey, you want to finish this before we take it off? Yeah, I would like to finish that series before it goes away, even though it's like 5 seasons and it's like 100 episodes.
Yeah, we kind of burnt ourselves out when we were watching X-Files initially, because like we were like marathoning that show. And since it is kind of like a Monster of the Week show, once you get into like some of like the middle seasons, like you start hitting like season 4, like it does kind of start to drag a little. Like there's still the overarching plot that's still interesting. There's still like individual episodes that have interesting elements to them, but you are basically watching like a Monster of the Week type show back to back to back to back, and like those kind of shows were never really meant to be watched like that.
Yeah.
So
it's called Monster of the Week for a reason.
Yeah. So it kind of starts to wear on you. So we took a break, and then when we went to watch more of it, it was gone. And we're like, well, God damn it. We were like almost done. We were halfway through the entire series, and there's like 9 seasons.
Damn. I didn't get that far. I was like maybe a third of the way through like the first season. I only got like 5 or 6 episodes in. But I had started watching it, and I did plan to finish it eventually, but I guess that's, have to find them on DVD or something, or wait for Netflix to decide. It's like, hey, let's bring back X-Files or whatever.
Yeah, or find some online or something.
Yeah, if only it were as easy to find live-action shows as it is to find anime and cartoons.
Right? But that's why I buy stuff when I can. Like, in a similar vein, we bought the like complete collection of Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting to watch. Cause
I don't know much about it. I've heard of it, and I know a little bit of.
I mean,
it's one of those like almost like Twilight Zone, where it's like a new story like every episode. Or whatever.
Yeah, new story, like some weird creepy thing or some eerie kind of thing. Yeah. But it's really old, so it's like super cheesy, and like the effects are super cheesy. It's something. Yeah, there's some weird ones in there, but it's been fun to watch just every once in a while. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, don't marathon it. Don't like I think we usually watch like a disc at a time, which is like, I want to say like episodes? 6 episodes or so. And even that is a little too much sometimes. Like after like 3, you're kind of hitting that point where it's like, how many more are left? All right. Like, it's not a bad show. It's just, it's
not the kind that you want to like.
It's not a bingeable show.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Now we are getting shows that are like designed to be binged, which I have mixed feelings about, but for the most part,
well,
it works.
the Netflix originals and all that.
Yeah,
like we're gonna tell a story and leave you at a cliffhanger. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen? You can watch the next episode right now. It's like 3:00 in the morning, and I'm halfway through the series.
It's like. Yeah. We had watched through Stranger Things when it like was first airing, like when it first came out, and before season 2 started, we wanted to rewatch through it. So like the night before it came out, we were like finishing up because like we watched like half of it, and then we were gonna watch the rest of it, and we had like I think like 2 episodes left, and I was just like, it's like 3 a.m. I want to finish it, but like I think we did end up finishing it that night, and then it's like, oh hey, it took us so long to finish this. Season 2's up now. We could start watching it. Okay, let's go to bed. Yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, let's go to bed. Let's just sleep. But I hope they do the same thing for season 2 that they did for season 1 with the like physical release.
The VHS case.
Because it's so cool.
That is pretty cool. It's like perfectly. It's like the right size and everything. I think. Or no.
It's a little
bit
bigger.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than a VHS, but it's still like all the details are great.
Yeah.
And it has one of those cool like magnet like lock boxes. Yeah. Where you just kind of like pull the thing away.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get it from the corner. That's cool though.
Yeah. I really like those kind of boxes.
Like where they get creative and stuff with the design and whatnot.
Well, like specifically like the magnet boxes.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know why. There's just something really gratifying about them. Like one of my card games has one of those. Exploding Kittens.
Oh yeah.
Has one of those boxes. And then also Mage Wars, one of the expansions came in one of those. So like I kept that and I use it to stash my knives.
That's cool.
But yeah. So what are we? Okay, we're almost at 2 hours. That's probably a good point to cut it.
Hour 40 something. So
talking about video games and anime and Netflix.
And we didn't talk about Borderlands.
Yeah,
I was like a second away from mentioning it because you said something when you were talking about Monster Hunter, and I was like, I could say something about Borderlands, but I'm not going to. Like, I'm gonna say something like that reminds me of how Borderlands is with something or whatever. Like, no, I'm not gonna say Borderlands.
Yeah. We'll skip the Borderlands talk for now.
Yeah.
Like you started it, and I want to keep going, but
we're done.
Let's cut it.
It's over.
Yeah, we're already at an hour 40. We'll see you next time.
We'll try and do SpellCast a little more often than once a year. We'll see about doing that maybe. But for now, thanks for listening. It's over. See you next time, whenever that is.